First at 4, West Bloomfield police raid a home in Detroit. Why they say this investigation is connected to the death of a young woman. Hi, Paula.
Hey, Devin. Okay, brand new airline is coming to Metro Detroit. They say they can get you to Europe for under $100. Come on. What's the catch? Devin, we go looking for the asterisks.
Can't wait to hear. All right, Paula. Also ahead, Hillary Clinton not holding back about this debate with now President Trump. Why she says, quote, my skin crawled. Ben?
Devin, clouds out there not really helping with the lack of warm temperatures, and it looks like this late summer chill is going to get deeper before we warm up. All that and more coming up right now. First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Devin Skillian in today for Karen Drew. We start our top 4 at 4 in Detroit, where police raid the home of a suspect in a heroin dealing ring. Take a look at video from the scene at the home on Dean Avenue, where police went in just before 9 a.m. this morning. A man inside was arrested, taken into custody as a person of interest in an overdose case. West Bloomfield police said the investigation of a 26-year-old woman's overdose death led them to the home there where the 41-year-old man was taken into custody. His identity has not yet been released. The investigation continues, and we will continue to update it. One man is dead after an auto accident on I-94 this morning. It happened around 5:30 a.m. on eastbound 94 near Mount Elliott in Detroit. Police are working still to determine what caused the car to slam into the median wall and then crash into a bridge support. Investigators say the driver, a 49-year-old Harper Woods man, was not wearing a seatbelt at the time, but no other injuries were reported in the crash. The man accused of causing a 2-car crash that killed 5 people appeared in court today. 23-year-old Matthew Carrier, accused of being intoxicated behind the wheel when he blew through a stop sign and T-boned another vehicle in May of last year. Carrier is charged with 5 counts of second-degree murder. Also charged with driving under the influence. If convicted, Carrier could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Wayne County prosecutors are going to appeal a ruling that allows former State Senator Virgil Smith to run for the Detroit City Council. Smith had agreed not to seek office for 5 years as part of a plea deal. You may recall he was caught up in shooting at his ex-wife's car. A Wayne County judge ruled that part of that deal is unconstitutional. An appeals court agreed with that yesterday. So now the prosecutor plans, we're told, to appeal it now to the state Supreme Court. First forecast. Ben Bailey talking about a cooler night ahead. Feeling a bit more like fall than summer. It really cooled off here yesterday, Ben.
It really did, Devin. And, you know, temperatures are actually going to get warmer at some point in this forecast, but we still have cooler numbers to get to before we can realize that. Numbers outside right now are in the 70s. Coolest spots up in Port Huron at 70 degrees, and there is a noticeable breeze. So with temperatures as cool as they are, that is definitely showing up. By the way, tomorrow, that may be one of our warmest high temperatures across the area on Thursday. Numbers tonight sliding into the 60s by midnight. Clouds will start to thin out. We will look at better rain chances and an absolutely gorgeous weekend ahead, all coming up in a few minutes. Devin?
Ben. President Trump wrapping up a 2-day visit out west after delivering some very mixed messages to 2 very different audiences. Kimberly Gill following that for us from the newsroom with the latest on the president's travels and these different messages over the past 24 hours. Kim?
Hi, Devin. Good afternoon. The president appeared before a crowd of loyal supporters last night at a campaign-style rally in Phoenix. And he cut loose with scathing verbal attacks on a number of targets. But today in Reno, Nevada, the president appeared before the American Legion, and his message was one of unity.
It is time to heal the wounds that divide us and to seek a new unity based on the common values that unite us. We are one people with one home and one great flag. If you want to discover the source of the division in our country, look no further than the fake news and the crooked media, which would rather get ratings and clicks than tell the truth.
Now, it's kind of difficult for anybody to reconcile the different messages the president delivers from day to day. Some people are concerned, though. Former Director of National Security James Clapper, who served every president from Kennedy to Obama, says he finds the president's statements, quote, downright scary. and disturbing. Right now, the president is aboard Air Force One flying back to Washington, D.C. Yeah. Devin, we'll send it back to you. We'll see you at 5 o'clock.
You bet, sure will. All right, Kim. After another national story, after 2 deadly U.S. warship collisions in 2 months, the commander of the Navy's Asia-based 7th Fleet has been dismissed. Vice Admiral Joseph Aucoin has been relieved of his duties as the search continues for missing U.S. sailors on board the USS John S. McCain. It was hit by an oil tanker on Sunday, but 2 months earlier, 7 U.S. sailors were killed when the USS Fitzgerald collided with a merchant ship. The cause of the McCain crash has not yet been determined. New low airfares about to touch down at Detroit's Metro Airport. These are prices that will definitely get your attention if you're a traveler. WOW Air is a company out of Iceland moving into Metro, offering airfares of $99 one way to the capital city of Iceland, which is Reykjavik. Fares start at $149 for cities like London, Paris, and Amsterdam. Are these prices too good to be true? That's $300 round trip Detroit to Paris. Paula Tutman takes a closer look at these eye-catching fares. Paula?
There's not much to see now, but the North Terminal is getting a new tenant, WOW Airlines. That's the name, WOW. And while there are several low-fare outfits flying out of Detroit Metro Airport, this will be the first to fly to Europe for cut-rate costs. We talked to the CEO via Skype from Iceland this morning.
And it's very important to note that these are not just initial price offers, but also on an ongoing basis. If you're flexible and willing to book in advance, you should be able to find these great prices on an ongoing basis.
Russell is already excited. He knows about WOW from other airports and found out it'll be in Detroit early next year from us.
People complain about the no-frills stuff, and you know, the thing is, for that price you can't expect much. So if you know how to game the system, you don't mind traveling Europe, it's a cheap way to go, it's a fun way to do it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Here are the basics. WOW flights will leave 4 times a week for now from Detroit, heading to destinations such as Amsterdam, Berlin, Copenhagen, Dublin, Frankfurt, London, Paris, and Reykjavik, Iceland, the main hub. All layovers, by the way, land you in Iceland. The first flight leaves from Detroit April 26th of next year, but since the online portal opened, they've been filling up fast. Here's how it works. There are 3 levels of ticket pricing. So we found the lowest WOW price, or the basic WOW, to Iceland for May 12th. We found that for $229.99 there and $149 back. But for that level, you have to pay a la carte for luggage. So 1 carry-on and 1 checked piece of luggage adds $179 round trip for a total round trip ticket price of $408.
Our model is based on the fact that you only pay for what you use.
For the WOW Plus, that carry-on and check bag are actually included. For the WOW Biz, the price going was $393, but you get a great big 33 inches of personal space called the XXL seating, and those first bags are free. I booked the exact same trip through Delta, and the lowest fare we found was $920 round trip, 1 carry-on, and the first check bag free.
April, and they're booked tickets now? Sounds like I got summer vacation coming up.
You know what? That gentleman has a baby who has family in Brussels who've never met him. Sounds like they're going on a road trip. But Devin, this is where reciprocity comes in, because while this really does open it up so a lot of people who couldn't afford to go to Europe can go and experience Europe, people in Europe can come and experience Detroit. Devin?
Exactly right. Now, Paula, though, one piece there that you mentioned, so they're only flying out of Detroit 4 times a week. That's not much to start.
Well, no, but that's just the start, because as ticket sales, the CEO told me, as the ticket sales start to pick up, they will actually be able to add more flights. So it'll be supply and demand. And I think they're going to have quite a bit of demand.
I would think. Reykjavik has got to be a cool stamp to have in your passport, don't you think? Aren't you signed up yet, Paula?
Oh, that and a couple of them. Absolutely.
There you go. All right, great stuff. Thanks, Paula. Well, the move to online shopping is creating more changes at some of your favorite stores. Walmart and Kohl's, both highlighted in our trending stories. We'll have that for you just a little bit later on. Also coming up, Prince Harry opens up about the death of Princess Diana, why he is still angry 20 years later. But up first, Hillary Clinton unfiltered. She reveals what was really going through her mind during this presidential debate. Fascinating stuff coming up when we come back.
Attack. Coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
Remember the movie Fatal Attraction? Well, this story is kind of like that, but it doesn't have the full end of the violence, but there is criminal wrongdoing. And a temptress could very well find herself in jail. We'll have the story.
All right, Rod. Well, the promotion machine is firing up for Hillary Clinton's new book. It is called What Happened. It'll focus on the 2016 presidential election. In an exclusive excerpt from MSNBC's Morning Joe, we hear what was going through her mind during the second presidential debate.
And no matter where I walked, he followed me closely, staring at me, making faces. It was incredibly uncomfortable. He was literally breathing down my neck. My skin crawled.
That was the debate in which Donald Trump seemed to pace around the stage. Clinton now says she wonders if she should have challenged him more directly that night about that. Her book will be released on September 12th. First at 4, we're also on top of a number of stories making headlines from around the world. We start in South Korea. The country staged a nationwide defense drill today. The exercises have been held annually since 1975, just in case North Korea were to attack, but it felt a bit more of an acute drill today. They were broadcast live for the first time in 2 years, in fact, to try to raise public awareness. South Korea caught in the middle of the ongoing tense standoff between the United States and North Korea. And of course, the Winter Olympics are going to be held there coming up in a few months. At the Vatican, Pope Francis led a prayer for victims of the earthquake off the coast near Naples. 2 women died, 24 people injured. Meantime, the so-called miracle baby is back with his family after being held by his father today. A 7-month-old and his 2 older brothers, you may recall, pulled from the rubble after the quake destroyed their home. It was a sight millions of people will never forget. Princes William and Harry walking behind their mother's casket. Both men have been opening up about Princess Diana's death leading up to the 20th anniversary of that. All these years later, Prince Harry talks about why he can't forgive nor understand the paparazzi.
I think one of the hardest things to come to terms with is the fact that the people that chased her into the tunnel were the same people that were taking photographs of her while she was still dying on the back seat of the car.
Princess Diana, of course, died in a car accident in Paris August 31st, 1997, racing into a tunnel trying to evade the paparazzi. All right, Ben is back. I thought you might be off at a computer trying to book a trip to Reykjavik, but here you are anyway. You made it back in for the weather.
I did, and you know what? The temperatures just keep going down.
Yeah.
Is summer still technically
but
with us?
Really different from where we were just 2 days ago, right?
Huge difference. Yeah, that humidity is long gone, and so is the heat. Temperatures right now 78 in Metro. In fact, it's all 70s with the exception of Sandusky at 69, and this may be more like what we all feel like tomorrow afternoon. We'll get to that in a second. But compared to yesterday, there is a noticeable temperature change, especially for areas north of 8 Mile. It's technically actually a degree warmer in Metro than what we were looking at 4 p.m. yesterday. So there are clouds out there, cumulus clouds that have formed in the afternoon, and some of those have been spawning a few showers. Most of those have been brushing the thumb. There's still a chance we could get a stray sprinkle, but it's an outside shot and a little bit better here in our north zone compared to everywhere else. And by the way, we're starting to get to that time of year where the lakes are at their warmest temperatures of the season, and that means we're getting close to waterspout season. Tomorrow, as we see a trough come through, and those winds are going to be at different directions near the lakes on the east side, it is possible we could see a waterspout in a couple areas, so be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, chance of a sprinkle again tonight, very slight, and then those clouds start thinning as we get overnight going into tomorrow. A little bit of energy coming down in the mid-levels could trigger a few more stray sprinkles, but still not a lot of moisture there. And temperatures as we get into tonight are going to be on the cool side, to say the least. In fact, we'll look at those numbers right now in our 4-zone forecast. Right around 70 degrees. Actually, these are going to be high temperatures tomorrow is what we're expecting. South zone temperatures are going to be anywhere between the upper 60s and probably stay just right there. A lot of 60s here in our west zone as well. It's cool as 67 out in Brighton, Milford, and north of M59. We're looking at pretty much 60s here too as well. 64 in Sandusky and Lexington will be 2 of our cool spots, and up to the upper 60s down there towards M59. So forecast highs, of course, will be right around 70 degrees. The other thing we're going to be looking for is just an isolated shower possible in the heart of the afternoon. But most of us are going to stay dry. And if you don't get a drop then, you probably are not going to see one until the middle of next week. An extremely dry forecast. but an increasingly beautiful one too. Look at what happens when we get to the weekend. Mid to upper 70s, plenty of sunshine, still some pretty crisp mornings as we start out in the mid 50s, but everything starts feeling a little bit more like summer. We just got to wait till the beginning of next week to get it. Devin?
Ben. Well, are you among the many who has bought a Powerball ticket? The jackpot is pretty huge, and even TV stars not immune to lotto fever. In fact, one NBC star has some generous plans if he wins. We'll tell you about that in a second. But up first, a surprise marriage in the world of online shopping. Walmart has a new partner in its fight against Amazon. We've got that in our trending stories, and it's next.
It's the
Let's get to today's trending stories. These two huge companies teaming up to make online shopping more competitive. Starting next month, shoppers will be able to order Walmart products using the voice-activated Google Home, and then Google Express delivers them to your home. Walmart and Google getting together, of course, to challenge Amazon, which already offers voice-activated shopping through its device, whose name I shall not mention, otherwise I might have things being ordered to your house. You should notice some changes coming at Kohl's department stores. Company plans to cut the amount of floor space in almost half of its stores. Kohl's wants to encourage customers to buy products online and then pick them up in the store. Moving the products into the back room makes them cheaper to maintain. Of course, it is expected to boost profits. We'll see if that's how folks want to shop. Moving to Hollywood, people talking about the highest paid actors on the big screen. You can't help but notice a huge pay gap when compared to the highest paid actress. Mark Wahlberg now tops the Forbes magazine list, estimates he made $68 million over the last year. Not sure if that has anything to do with the burger business as well. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just behind $65 million. Vin Diesel $54.5 million. Compare that to Emma Stone, Oscar winner for La La Land, made $26 million, and she is at the top of the list of actresses for what they made last year. Chicago Fire actor Taylor Kinney is not on that Forbes list. Like so many of us, though, he is trying his luck with the huge Powerball jackpot. This morning, cameras caught him at a Chicago 7-Eleven picking up his ticket for the $700 million jackpot. By the way, Kinney says he is paying for the ticket, but if he wins, he will split the money with the crew on Chicago Fire, the NBC show. Powerball drawing is tonight. We'll have the numbers at 11. Ben, have you got a ticket yet?
I have not, but as that shows, you know, TV doesn't pay what it used to. So that's why they're all in line. $700 million, though, that's a ton of dough.
It is, but I just always laugh, though, more people want it because $700 million is worth playing for, but like $150 million.
Yeah, well, you can still split it with 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 winners, and still have a respectable number, right?
Be respectable, would be just fine. All right, finally, this seems like a crazy flavor combination. A Kit Kat candy bar with white chocolate infused with cough drops?
Yikes.
This is not a joke. The label lists throat lozenge powder as an ingredient. New flavor released this week ahead of the World Cup qualifying matches in Japan. We're told it was created so soccer fans could soothe their throats after cheering for their favorite teams. Now that is thinking.
I think they had a sake flavored Kit Kat in Japan not too long ago, too.
Really?
Yeah. So this is
just a trip through a Tokyo 7-Eleven. Fascinating. Still ahead, we've got some tastier treats. We'll reveal another winner in our Vote for the Best contest, the best bakeries in Metro Detroit. Look at this. I am. Ben is.
Yes.
See you in just a minute.
They're a local family that never imagined that they would need donated blood. Now they're depending on the kindness of strangers.
When they match the blood for her, they always say donor number, you know, and you would say thank God for that person.
I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Tonight at 11, meet a little girl who will make you appreciate the power of donating and what it could mean to your family.
How does Dean...
Finally, wow, does it smell good in here right
It really
now?
does.
First at 4, more winners in our Vote for the Best contest.
First, the best brunch spots, including the winner Jumps.
Awesome.
Gross Points, but you've been there.
Awesome, yes.
And
Fantastic.
the Breakfast Club, which is only in Farmington Hills. They are not affiliated with other places with the same name. Also, the Pantry Restaurant.
And the best bakery is Serendipity Cakery in Wyandotte, followed by Villa Bakery and Delicatessen in Garden City, and then Vito's Bakery in Clinton Township. And Serendipity sent over this gorgeous array of samples of what makes them so popular. Cake pops are their specialty. We've got one of those down there. 57 different flavors of cake pops. But look at these beautiful cupcakes, this fantastic cake, which actually celebrates their win, I would say. But if you haven't spent any time in Wyandotte, Wyandotte is the coolest community. Absolutely. Head to River's Edge Art Gallery, then head down to Serendipity. Pretty darn good afternoon.
Chocolate covered potato chips.
We'll dig into those next. We'll see you here at 5.